this size paper you need a little more paint for. And the slow dry medium. And applying the paint to the plate. All right, now I'm going to lay down the paper. Not worrying too much about where it falls, and quickly take another print. And again, just rolling this off. All right, so that's our first print. Actually, second print, but the first with the resist. All right, now I'm going to take this off. Now, do yourself a favor and keep, if you're going to replace the, which you can use these until they fall apart, these pieces of paper. You can also use pieces of plastic or Tyvek envelope that doesn't disintegrate or get stuck to the plate like this did. All right, and my next layer will be the phthalo blue. Do it the same way. Now I'm going to use the same strips, but you can absolutely use any shape that you want for the next layer. Again, this is all about your intention, what you want it to look like when you're done. The more you play with these things, the more you will understand how they work. Experimentation with awareness is knowledge. When you're experimenting without paying attention, you're just playing without learning a whole lot. Or at least I find that to be true. So you have to really think about what you're doing. How does this work? Playtime is good at the beginning when you're just trying to figure things out. But once you start really making a deliberate kind of effort, then you need to pay attention to what you're doing. All right, I'm going to put this back down on my line, which I don't know that you can see it, but I can see it here. Another good thing about transparent paint. Okay. And we have plaid. Okay, so that's one form of resist with paper. This is the other form of resist with paper. So that's the two different effects. All right, set those aside to dry and clean up my space here. Now, I will tell you that normally I have a whole series of things that I do in a row. So when I do the yellow, I do the yellow on 16 different pieces of paper, changing things a little. But that way you're not tossing a lot of paint. You just keep applying it right on top of what's there. I hope that makes sense. But for purposes of the demo, I'm not going to work in that fashion right now. All right, now back to the yellow, and now we are going to do, because these are completely dry, the ones that we used with the matte medium and the stencil, those are completely dry now. So we are going to print on top of those, and you can see what that effect will be. All right. Okay, so can you see where I did the matte medium and how that came out? Now, if you wanted to, you could take a ghost print. I'm just using this random piece of paper. And that's what the ghost print looks like. So where it resisted, you still have paint on the plate. So this is a really good way to have all those extra little pieces of paper that you just hold on to for your collage, and you just keep layering them as you go. Right. Now I'm going to clean the plate, but I'm not going to worry about the paint over here, because I'm going to do another yellow print on the other side where we did the random mark making. All right. Oh, didn't get the brayer covered very well on that one. And I'm going to take this print, laying it down, hopefully without too much shifting. And there are those marks. Okay, isn't that a fun technique? This is a really fun technique. So you can continue to make random marks, let the paint dry, and then you can go ahead and do, you can use different stencil, you can use the exact same stencil and layer it on top of one another. And I'll show you what that looks like. I did one before. And I'll show you what that looks like with two colors. So that's with the same stencil put in a slightly different orientation, with the yellow applied, then the stencil redone, and the red applied, the magenta applied. So if you want the yellow to stay where it is, then it's helpful to put another thing of matte medium over it. So you'd put the stencil back down and you do matte medium again, because I don't know if you can see it, but there is a little bit of yellow that printed off there, which I love that effect. But the more times that happens, the more the next layer tends to stick to it. So to keep this really cool effect, the best thing to do is to go ahead and do the matte medium over top of it a second time. Okay, so that's that section. That is the paper section on your handout. So the next thing we are going to do, trying to get my computer to come back up here. All right. Right. So the next technique is going to be charcoal. Now you can use graphite. It will have a different feeling to it. I am going to go ahead and fold this. I'm not going to worry about tearing it right now. And the softer the charcoal, the darker the line, and more it will resist and show through. So this is soft, very dark, compressed charcoal. Vine charcoal will work. It will, however, give you a different effect. Right, I'm going to make similar marks as I did on the other paper, just so they all go together today. And I am going to go ahead and use the yellow. lightly apply the paper, matching your marks. And of course, if I was doing something that was intended to be a final print, then I would tear these apart, but I'm not going to worry about that. All right, so here's the print. There's the ghost. We're going to give it a little spritz. You can even try adding some additional paint. You won't get quite as clean a print. This works super well if you are using Golden Open because they dry so much slower. And then this is your ghost. Isn't that fun? Fun, fun, fun. So you can totally draw an actual thing on your paper. You can do your, like in my case, the pear that got brought to demonstrate on that particular demonstration for the trace monotype. So you can put draw your pear right on your paper, take your print, and do it that way. These are shop towels. I use them because I can rinse them out. And like I said, I don't normally throw out quite so much paint, but if you do not do what I just did and get a hand print, if you bunch it up more, you can actually use these in collage if you want to. You can get some pretty cool effects. But that's another class altogether. Okay, so the last technique that we're going to do is using natural materials. So I have, let's get them out here. I have leaves that I used. You can use any kind of where did I put my leaves? Okay, hang on.